random interviews, so you never know who I'm going to have on here. This is the first. So I thank you, Elder, for being the guinea pig here. And for those who might not know, I'm here with Elder Zamora, a poet, photographer, late night raconteur, a Phil Collins diss enthusiast. And and could you please tell people about some of your work, about some of these things I brought up randomly and sprung on you? All right.
And I gave myself this haircut, so don't judge too harshly. We're all doing what we can to stay
I'll do
safe.
our best.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to my dad about this situation that happened because I'm realizing that I've dealt with this trauma for a long time, and it took me a while to process it properly. And I think a lot of us have that time right now, either off work or off doing stuff to really mentally process a lot of stuff. And I've been thinking about it more. And when I was about 19 years old, I experienced some violence in the street while waiting for a bus. Just pretty random street violence, and it's stuck with me for a long time. But what stuck with me more is the connection I had with the guy who assaulted me, who pulled the knife on me. The fact that I didn't know him at all, but ultimately we're both people, and we're both, we grew up we're in California, where we have some things in common. So even all that anger and that fear and all that trauma that I felt, I found it helpful to look through it and kind of find what things I could relate to this guy with. So this poem is called "To the Man Who Took My Wallet," and it's dedicated to the man who took my wallet, whose name is John Morris. All I got to hear from the record when they read it in court was that you were 42 and a resident of Los Angeles County, and you've been in trouble before. You didn't look at the judge when she hurried to give you 6 months and then another two on top of that for something else. And you didn't see me either in the second row from the back in my nice shirt and my clean khakis. You didn't see me when you held a knife up to my face, when you pedaled away on a bicycle and left me to wait for a bus I had no money for. And I don't think I ever really saw you when they put the handcuffs on and marched you off in that dark blue jumpsuit, no longer drunk and no longer angry, with a look most closely resembling resignation on your face. You had probably done 8 months before. I didn't see you, John, when you were 11 years old, watching the astronauts rocket up towards the moon, towards the emptiness that secretly terrified you, when you wondered if they were terrified too, and you never saw me sitting by the TV with my mom as we watched Kuwaiti oil fields burn underneath clouds of gray smoke, the same color of the doors that closed behind you when I saw you for the last time. And all that's going to remain unsaid between us. But if you're still alive, you'd be around 56 now. And if you're still a resident of LA County, then there's a chance we might see each other again. And I wonder if I'll see you then. And, and I wonder if you'll see me. And I wonder if you'll see how many nights of sleep I lost thinking about the knife. And I wonder if I'll see you, starry-eyed kid, still afraid of that great loneliness of space.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's taken me a while to work through a lot of that stuff, and traumas like that. you kind of bury it for a long time, and then it kind of pops up in different ways. And I've noticed it pop up in different ways in my life and some of my anxieties and stuff. And I think it's I'm in a better place now than I was. But yeah, so that's an experience.
Yeah. So you wrote that poem. How long ago did you write the poem?
I wrote that poem about God, not that long ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, which I guess is not that long for me, but it was a long time after the event happened. And ultimately, I think writing about it, talking about it, something that I didn't do for a long time because I think there was a lot of fear associated with it, and a lot of in a weird way, there's also some shame associated with it. The fact that I'm this big guy, like I've always been a really big guy in my life,
Yeah.
and this dude just put a knife to my neck and took my wallet like pretty simply,
Yeah.
and I felt kind of humiliated by that, but I've been able to move past it. I think I'm trying to, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no reason to feel like that in general, but I mean, like, but even the part of you that feels that way. I mean, a guy's got a knife. What are you gonna do? It's not. There's no.
Right, and helping me look at this guy is like, he's he's a human being.
Yeah.
We all do pretty shitty stuff. I've done shitty stuff, and I'm not, by any means making light of it, but you have to see people as human beings ultimately.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you're talking about that. You're dealing with you're dealing with the after effects of that so many years later. But you wrote this poem that sounds like you dealt with it, but then it's so funny. Like we feel like we deal with things in a moment, and we're like, that's that. Now I've dealt with that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like, well, I'm over it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, swapping up. So it's something that I think trauma is something that you're constantly dealing with and making better and moving past it or whatever. But you never really move past it.
Yeah.
Do I have to share another poem?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. You have
All right. And this poem is about this T-shirt that I'm wearing. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's from the school I went to, University of Minnesota. And there's an article I read in somewhere, some liberal bullshit that I read, like, and it said that there's a problem in Africa because I don't know if you know this, but a lot of the clothes that we give to Goodwill and stuff like that doesn't actually go free to poor people. It often gets sold in bulk to these retailers who take it to Africa, primarily Central Africa, and then sell it to as used clothing to people there. And there's a problem because as Americans, we're getting much bigger. Our diets and stuff. We're getting bigger people, and they're not. And our clothes no longer fit them because we're so we're so large. And I was thinking about the poor guy who gets one of my shirts. And specifically this shirt.
Yeah, you get like a scorpion's.
Yeah, exactly. So here's this poem. I was thinking about that. It's called Two Senegalese Men Discuss My Shirt. The first pours tea from a kettle that's been hot all day, filling the cup for his friend who does quick arithmetic with a pencil, counting the money spent on one column and idly doodling in the margin of figures that are the promise to come. Dusk sets around the warehouse where they sit cross-legged and begin to talk of plans and big things. And one of them the one pouring remembers what came in that day's load and darts up to show his friend, who is still thinking of the numbers and how much money they're going to make and how much a condominium with a baby nursery might cost. And he returns waving a large, bright yellow cotton shirt, like this one, big enough to be a flag, frayed and emblazoned with a depiction of an animal, smiling two large, grotesque teeth. And as he waves it, he laughs, and his friend laughs, both smiling and laughing, the Wolof word for giant. For who else could wear this shirt, into which the two of them would fit, and maybe a neighbor too? And the one on the ground has to choke a bit on the dust and fine fibers littering the air. Settling himself with the tea, he reads the words silently. University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. He allows himself to wonder who this man was who so loved this shirt that he wore the cotton thin in places, who studied something at this university, who maybe also kept a little notebook into which went figures that were an accounting of his future. Holding the shirt up between his face and the sole dangling light bulb in the room, he tries to reconstruct this foreigner, this large man, this possible person, this man who was not careful when he ate and left stains on the material that have never washed off, and it's full of them. Tomato sauce, Coca Cola, wine, and other stains too. The green blood of grass from laying in the sun. An afternoon, perhaps spent with a book and a cigarette, waiting for a woman, the one who absently left burnt orange lipstick near the collar. Was there a word in his language, he wondered, in English, for the feeling of having a woman running her hand through the material of your clothes, the tug of your arm followed by the intimacy of fingers near skin, tracing the stitch along the sleeve like his wife did when she wanted him to stop thinking about work? Would there be a common tongue between them if this shirt were to fill out with the soul of its owner, having crossed an ocean to once again feel the comfortable, threadbare fabric? Would it take offense at how useless the garment was in a country of people 3 sizes too small for its proportion? Or would they reach an understanding in the translation of the word for baby swaddling clothes, sewn together with pieces of bright yellow cotton lining a crib that has not yet been bought? And that was just some poking fun of myself, frankly, and thinking of where things end up.
Well,
But
that's obviously the question. I mean, the question was kind of it lands. I mean, did you just read about the issue in Senegal and then all of
yeah,
a
it was something on NPR. I was remembering. It was a thing on NPR about Senegal, and they were tracing like a shipment of this, used clothes that people donate. That's thinking it's going to homeless people, and it's not. It gets resold or whatever. And these people in Africa, they're buying this used clothes, so they're 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 wearing it, and it's a problem now because our clothes doesn't fit them as well. And so, it's a strange problem to have. It kind of shows us the disparity between the vast economic disparity and capitalism causes. But
yeah.
that's for Matt to talk about.
The shirts. Well, so I was really fascinated. I'm interested in your process. Like, so is this typically like is this kind of how poems come to you? You hear something and then you imagine the possibilities and then you kind of compose that into a poem, or
Yeah, I have a really wandering mind that makes concentrating on things really hard for long periods. But it also makes it easy for me to kind of go on tangents and build things in my head. Usually when I should be working or doing more important things. But and it results in these ideas for poems or short stories or flash fiction that kind of take on lives eventually.
yeah. So what's your process for photography? How do you frame a picture? How do you capture pictures of what's your lens?
It's sort of the same thing. I start thinking of concepts, and I start thinking of things that I want to see or things that I'm curious about. One For me, photography is always an exploration, and it's never a concrete answer. It's always one look at things. For example, right now I'm doing a series of people juxtaposed with their grandparents, and it's interesting to me that I mean right now I'm not because of we're all sheltering,
Or
but um, I always like seeing people next to their elders, the people who raised them, the people who they get their personality and their characteristics and their genes from, and I like to see the little comparisons, and especially if there's a lot of contrast, or especially if there's no they're very similar. I think that's always really fun to kind of explore. I really I did some photos, and I never got them done, and you can kick my ass for it later, Matt. But I did some photos of you with your mom, who was a absolutely lovely person, and I really like that. I like seeing here's this world renowned poet and his mother who brought him up and stuff, and I like seeing that together. There's something there. So
yeah, well, you know, You got time to get them done now. I mean,
I do. I have nothing but time right now, so you can expect them. Yeah.
yeah. So you mentioned that you are part of the curatorial or the just general executive whatever team of San Gabriel Valley Lit Fest. So what can people expect in this in the shelter in place era from the San Gabriel Lit Fest? Is something coming up or what's going on?
We're trying to do things online. John is primarily he has a big online presence for that, and if you want to check out John Branningham's webpage, he's really good with doing online prompts and poetry workshops online. I myself haven't done as much because I'm still working full time, just working from home. But it's we're definitely trying to stay active with that. We also have a separate project from that called the California Imagism Project, which is being housed at the California Imagism Gallery. Yeah, and that's going to be a mixed media project of photography and art and writing, which really focuses on bringing the elements of California to forefront, and what is tangible, what is intangible, what really defines us as a state and as a region.
Yeah. So is John still the poet laureate at Sequoia Forest and Angeles Park?
I think he is. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he is, and I don't think that he's been usurped yet. But he's going to hold on to that for dear life. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's.
Um. So what brings about your disaffinity for Phil Collins?
Any music that's really meant to fill a hole that's not meant, like it's party music. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But it doesn't really have a message. There's no soul to it.
Yeah. No, I always remember that poem that you did about Phil Collins, and in normal times, I would absolutely agree with you. I'm like, yeah, that would have just passed over my head. But at the time, we had like this death metal band that was playing like really loud, and
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. And so I was thinking, it made me compare Phil Collins to the death metal band, and I thought, at least Phil Collins understands variation. You know what I mean? He builds up to.
It's funny, and it's a poem I wrote about going to one of my best friend's weddings, and him and I are, we're very close. We went to college together, but he grew up very upper middle class, and this is a very upper middle class wedding. And all the way there, I was telling my girlfriend at the time, I bet you there's going to be lots of Phil Collins in the DJ. And we get there, and it's like studio. And yeah, of course.
Of course. How old is your friend? I mean, why wasn't it like Maroon 5? I mean, it seems like
it's he's my age, but I guess just
the
his parents were paying, and his parents are gonna keep the playlist. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so what projects can people be looking for from Elder Zamora?
I'm definitely going to do some more portraits. I definitely want to kick that up when this is done. I want to do some more gallery shows. There's a photo gallery show that I'm planning to do again when this is all over, probably in August, and it's going to highlight a lot of California photography, a lot of wild spaces, and seemingly empty spaces. And one thing that we really want to talk about or really want to promote in California Imagism, and there's no such thing as an empty space, and there never was. A lot of the photography that we've seen from California traditionally, which is, as technical photography goes, it's excellent. But you have Ansel Adams, and you have these beautiful vistas of the parks, implying that these places are untouched. Well, I mean, there's been people living there for thousands of years, So that's one thing we definitely want to get away from in photography and in presenting California. That it's never been an empty space, So we really want to put that. And I think that the next project we have going forward, we really want to highlight that.
Okay. And your books, are they for sale? Can
Yeah, you can pick up Sea Glass online. It's on Amazon. It's available through Arroyo Seco Press. That should be about $7, pretty cheap for a chapbook. And yeah, I just found out one of my little chapbooks, an older one that's no longer in publication, but got accepted by San Diego State's permanent, or what do you call it, a special library. So,
wow, congratulations!
Thank you. And I look forward to collaborating with you, Matt, in the future as well. Do some more readings, do some more photography that you'll get.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was
Well,
good being here.
yeah, hopefully we can do this. Over at the DOS Center for the Arts, we're using the Zoom account now to put on events a lot more formal than, or put on like talks a little more formal than just
Right.
hitting you up at like midnight saying, "Hey, you want to go on?" So
Oh, that's great.
this is just the Matt's the deal hour right now. This is not that, but when we do that, maybe we can do something with the DAW and California Images and really kind of
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great. I would love that.
talk and get like with the Zoom account, I can have like 4 or 5 people. So
Yeah, that sounds good.
John and everybody. And
Sounds good. All right,
cool.
man. Well, thank you for having me, and I'll see you soon. And stay
Absolutely.
safe.
I usually stay
Okay.
safe. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Take care.